And you know, Reggie's been you know, promising a lot of cool, innovative stuff to come down. So I'm going to leave my judgment open to see what the rest of the games are and how they utilize it. But again, for me right now, the games that I'm playing, and I've played, I think every single game that's come out. You know, Super Monkey Ball, for example, is a great example where, you know, I'm tilting, I'm doing this, and after
those are the games that I love, are the ones that, you know, like Rayman's a lot of fun, Super Monkey Ball, the ones that sort of use the controller for these mini games and really take advantage of it, and not these games that try and kind of graft, you know, the Wii control scheme onto, you know, Splinter Cell or Need for Speed or any of those kind of things. I think, you know, they're the wrong games for the system, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, if you would have done Scarface, for example, for the Wii, you know, I think your thought process might have changed.
Why not do Scarface for the Wii though? Was it just that, you know, it's too mature?
Well, I mean, I think right now we didn't do it for any, you know, the next gen systems, and you know, I think that's certainly a possibility that at some point we're going to say, okay, let's do, you know, some mature content games for the Wii. And then in Scarface, I mean, we've talked about it before. Like, you know, you could use the remote for the chainsaw or for coke sniffing lines. You know, however you want to do
Perfect.
it. But,
just what Reggie wants.
Family. No, but I think you know, you talk to Reggie about it, and Reggie, you know, he definitely wants mature games there. He doesn't want it just to be seen as, you know, a younger kid system. But I think the odds are much better that Sony and Microsoft eventually will, you know, steal some component
You've already
of
got the
that
6
control
axis.
system.
And that's important, I think, because to me, again, as a gamer, and you know, is when I play the PlayStation 3 controller, it's like I have the best of both worlds. I really
The thing
do.
is, with the PS3 games, I mean, 6-axis hasn't really been used that well in any of the launch games. I mean, I played through Resistance,
not
you know,
the,
shake
not
the
the
controller
launch
once,
games, but Lair and
down
Warhawk,
the road.
and I think that's when you'll start to see it come in a little better there. You know.
You know, I think that we're all thinking a little too conventionally. We're all thinking about a game that will be made for all 3 platforms, and then how does a Wiimote change the gameplay? I think the Wiimote is going to create a whole new generation of games that won't be on the other platforms.
I hope so.
Which is great.
But you look at like the
and Monkey Ball might be that game. I mean, I don't know.
The problem though is a lot of the third parties you see that, you know, launch line, you see, you know, Ubisoft doing 6 or 7 games, and I mean Rayman's unique and Red Steel's unique, but a lot of the others are ports. EA's doing ports. I mean, all these third parties are just porting their game.
Activision tried to do a different Tony Hawk, and I don't know that
It's going to be successful though.
I don't know, but we'll see. And EA definitely was a port. I mean, they said they did Madden, and they said, okay, throw the ball.
So is EA really going to create original games for the Wii, do you think?
I think everybody will, because much as they're doing with the DS, the very first DS games were not any different from a GBA game. You didn't need to use a stylus except for probably WarioWare. You just didn't need to. You could have hit the buttons, and most of the games on the first generation were, you know, it didn't matter. You're seeing games like Brain Training, you just can't write the number, you know, 2 when you get 9 minus 7. You can with the Wiimote. What if we get Brain Training on the Wii? I think people will play that.
But that's a first-party game, though. This thing's question is, are the third-party?
But if Nintendo does that, then if EA wants to make money and EA wants share on the Wii, EA is going to have to innovate. And if they don't do it, then Ubisoft will. If they don't do it, Eidos will.
I mean, we're definitely talking right now. I mean, you have to have a different strategy. You just you can't. I mean, the only thing that stopped you before was the fact that from porting the same game exactly the same over every system was Microsoft and Sony said, okay, if you're doing that for Sony, you know, it has to be different for the 360. If you're doing it for the 360, it's got to be different for the PS3. With the Wii, it's not a matter of some mandatory, you know, mandate from the publisher or the console manufacturer. With the Wii, if you're going to put it on that remote, you got to actually come up with different gameplay mechanisms so that your game is truly different on that platform.
And success of the hardware is going to drive innovation. So, I mean, think about pre-iPod. Could you download Desperate Housewives? Obviously not. No, none of the networks ever thought about it. But when there's 40 million iPods out there, hey, there's a profit opportunity. You're going to get that. When there's 10 million Wiis out there, people are going to say, there's an audience out there. We got to get.
Well, in some ways, the publishers have been a little late to it, I think, because they didn't realize how big the Wii was going to be, and you see the launch.
Nor did any of us.
Well, it's. I think, you know. I think everyone. I at least thought that it was going to be very big initially. I think the question is how long. You know, what's its lifespan? Is it 3 years or
well, again,
10 years?
I think you nailed it on the head, though, when you said, Nintendo's first parties have always been the best and innovative and best software. We saw that with the GameCube. It was only very late in the cycle that you saw like a Capcom doing a Resident Evil 4, but it was almost like too little too late. So the third party is going to jump on and just do specific innovative stuff for the Nintendo. That's yet to be seen, and Nintendo owns that innovation thing, and
Right.
and it's they have a big advantage for doing first party stuff.
I think it comes down to what the most important aspect of the game is for you. I mean, if it's graphics or sound for you, but Nintendo's always been about one thing, and that's gameplay, gameplay, and gameplay. Like, if you know that you're going to always go and buy the new Miyamoto game, so your Wii is going to get taken out, is going to become the main system every time Zelda or Mario or any of the
All
Miyamoto
first party
games.
games.
Yeah, absolutely.
All first party.
But they know how to make games for their system, and they've been
That's
thinking
right.
about it for a lot longer than, say, third-party publishers.
All right, well, when we come back, we're going to talk about some other things that Nintendo's been thinking about, like putting online in the Wii. That's all next in the bonus round. Next time, our panel dissects some of Nintendo's age-old problems. Has the house that Mario built shaken its kiddie image?
Nintendo's, they are the modern-day Disney.
And what's up with the lack of online play at launch?
What they're really missing is a marketplace.
That's all next Saturday on the bonus round.